The second I walked through the door, I could tell something was off. Dana was sitting at the kitchen table, hands folded like she'd been waiting. No smile. No, how was your shift? Just this weird, fake calm on her face. I dropped my keys in the bowl by the door, boots still on, uniform damp from the heat and long hours. Everything okay? I asked. She didn't even blink. I'm leaving you. Just like that. I laughed, actually laughed, because I thought she was joking. What the hell are you talking about? Dana looked up, eyes steady. Marcus came back. We've been talking. It never really stopped, if I'm being honest. I realized I still love him. I never stopped thinking about him. Marcus, her college boyfriend. The guy she'd mentioned maybe 3 times in 18 years of marriage. And now suddenly, he's the reason she's walking out? Are you out of your mind? I asked, stepping further in. We have a life. A home. You don't just blow it all up for some college fantasy. She tilted her head, like she was doing me a favor. I'm not happy, Tom. I haven't been for a long time. Marcus makes me feel alive again. Alive again. What was I? A corpse on the couch. Quick note, before we go on. How's your day going, and where are you joining from? I turned to the stairs, needing to just get out of that kitchen before I said something I'd regret, and that's when I saw her. Emily. Standing halfway down, arms crossed, face tight. My kid. Or at least the girl I thought of as mine. I raised her since she was 7. Birthday parties. Soccer games. Braces. I taught her how to drive. She still called me Dad. Emily, please tell me you're not okay with this. She stepped down the rest of the way and looked at me dead on. Mom deserves to be happy. She's been stuck for years, Dad. Maybe this is what she needs. That Dad felt like a knife. I shook my head, stunned. You're siding with her? After everything? It's not about sides, she said, too calm for someone who just watched her family detonate. It's about love. You can't fake that. The room spun for a second. I'd just come off a 14-hour shift saving strangers' lives, only to come home and watch mine fall apart. That night, I didn't go upstairs. I grabbed a pillow and blanket and crashed on the couch. I stared at the ceiling for hours while Dana moved around up there like it was any other night, like we hadn't just set fire to 18 years. I didn't sleep, just laid there, numb, while the life I built crumbled one smug word at a time. I got up from that couch the next morning feeling like I'd aged 10 years overnight. My back was stiff, my brain foggy, and the silence in the house was louder than any siren I'd heard on the job. Dana was already gone. Emily too. No note. No sorry. Just coffee grounds in the sink and that damn empty ring holder on the dresser. Over the next few weeks, I went on autopilot. Eat. Work. Shower. Sleep, if I was lucky. I kept the place clean, paid the bills, dealt with the divorce paperwork stacking up like unpaid parking tickets. Dana was suddenly all business. Cold. Like we hadn't built a life from scratch together. Emily avoided me. When she was home, she barely spoke. Just floated around like a guest in a hotel. Still called me Dad, but with this weird distance in her voice, like she was doing me a favor. And somehow, through it all, I was the villain. The guy who held her back. The one who never understood real passion. That's what Dana said in one of her emails. Not even to my face. She wanted the house, the SUV, half my pension. Said it was fair. After 18 years of holding it down while she switched jobs and went back to school twice, now I owed her. I didn't fight it. Not because I agreed, hell no, but because I wanted it over. Every time I saw her smug little smirk, I had to remind myself not to flip the damn table. She acted like she was winning something. Court day came fast. Small courtroom, ugly lighting, a judge who looked like he'd rather be golfing. Dana came dressed like she was going to brunch, makeup perfect, heels clicking with confidence. Emily sat beside her. Straight posture. No emotion. I sat next to my lawyer, a guy named Barrett. Quiet, sharp, didn't waste words, just how I liked it. They went through the motions. Dana's lawyer laid out her demands like it was just numbers. I nodded along. House. Fine. Car. Take it. Pension. Whatever. Then Barrett slid a second set of papers toward me. I took a pen from my jacket pocket. Dana leaned in, brows pinched. What's that? I didn't look up. Parental rights transfer. Emily blinked. What? I'm signing over full rights. You're not my daughter anymore. The room went silent. Dana's mouth opened like she was about to object, but nothing came out. Emily's posture cracked for the first time, eyes wide, hands tightening on her purse. You made your choice. I said, voice low but solid. Now you live with it. Emily looked like she wanted to speak, but couldn't. Her lip trembled. Barrett pushed the papers forward. All in order, Your Honor. The judge glanced between us, clearly uncomfortable, but nodded. If both parties agree. I agree, I said. Dana still hadn't moved. Her face had gone from smug to stunned in 30 seconds. The control she thought she had? Gone. I stood up, grabbed my folder, didn't say another word, didn't offer a glance. I walked out of that courtroom like it was a building on fire, and I was the last one out alive. I didn't go back to the house after court. Went straight to the rental, 700 square feet, 1 bedroom, on the edge of town next to a shuttered hardware store. Paint was peeling, fridge was older than I was, and the AC rattled like a dying lawnmower. But it was mine. No Dana. No ghost footsteps upstairs. No Emily's door slamming when she didn't want to talk. I moved in that weekend with a couple boxes, my uniforms, and an old recliner I dragged from storage. No photos. No wedding dishes. Just the basics. First night, I sat in that recliner with a beer and nothing but the hum of the street lamp outside. Felt like a reset button had been smashed into the floor. Friends from the station heard what happened. Couple of them called. One even offered to bring over pizza and beers. I told them I was good. They didn't push. The truth was, I wasn't ready to be around people. Not yet. Every conversation would turn into a minefield. How are you holding up? Or did Emily really take her mom's side? And I didn't have answers that wouldn't end in broken furniture. I started working doubles. Not for the money, just for the silence. Sirens were easier to deal with than my own thoughts. At least when someone's bleeding out, you know what to do. There's a process, a protocol. But there's no guide for waking up one day and realizing the kid who called you dad doesn't want you anymore. Couple times, late at night, I'd be sitting in bed scrolling through my phone, and I'd see her name. Emily. I'd start typing something. Hope you're okay, or still think about you. And then stop. Just sit there, thumb hovering over the send button, heart pounding like an idiot. Then I'd delete it. She made her decision. I wasn't her dad anymore. Not in the eyes of the court. Not in hers either. She said it without saying it the day she backed Dana up and watched me walk away. Didn't matter that I'd raised her since she was 7. Packed her school lunches. Waited in hospital lobbies while she got stitches. Took off work to see her graduate. That version of life was gone. Now it was just me in this house that echoed too much. I kept a few mugs in the cabinet, stacked the dishes I used most, left the second bedroom empty. Friends kept asking if I'd start dating again. Maybe get on those stupid apps. I laughed it off. I wasn't looking for fresh starts, or closure, or any of that therapy talk crap. I just wanted peace. And if that meant spending most nights alone with a frozen dinner and reruns playing in the background, so be it. I earned the quiet. A week after I moved out, I heard Dana and Marcus were already living together. Didn't take her long. She posted a picture online, her in a sundress, him behind her on the porch of my old house like he built the damn thing. Caption said something about new beginnings and soulmates finally reunited. Comments were full of hearts and garbage about fate. I scrolled past it so fast I almost dropped my phone. Emily was in a few of the photos too, smiling like nothing happened. Sitting next to Dana on the couch I used to nap on after night shifts. Laughing at something Marcus was grilling in the backyard, I landscaped myself. Still called me dad last month, but now she's playing happy family with some guy who just showed up after 20 years. Dana quit the hospital not long after that. Word got around she was finally chasing her dream. That dream? Opening a wellness spa with Marcus. Of course it was. A spa. With what money? I had no idea. Probably what she squeezed out of the divorce and whatever savings we had before she emptied the account behind my back. I didn't say anything. Let it all unfold. I wasn't about to give her or Emily the satisfaction of knowing I cared enough to ask. Kyle, one of the guys I used to run calls with, still worked at the hospital. He filled me in here and there. Said Dana had this whole new glow about her. Said Marcus would pick her up in the middle of the day, sometimes in a new car, sometimes not at all, depending on whatever plan he was working on that week. Apparently, Marcus didn't have a job. Told people he was figuring things out. Creative stuff. Big ideas. Tech adjacent. Whatever that meant. Still, they acted like life was perfect. Selfies in front of the new spa building, which used to be a dentist's office. Dana holding up paint samples. Marcus holding a drill like he knew what to do with it. Emily taking photos for their brand. They even posted a short video, some cheesy grand opening soon, clip with background music and Dana talking about healing energy and true alignment. It was so fake I could barely watch it. I didn't make it past the 30-second mark. But from the outside, they were golden. New business, cute couple, loyal daughter. Looked like they won. I didn't comment. Didn't even click. But I saw enough. Everyone I knew saw enough. People asked me if I was okay, like I should be heartbroken watching it all work out for them. But I knew better. That kind of fantasy doesn't last. Especially when it's built on betrayal and BS. Behind every picture-perfect post, there's a crack waiting to spread. And I was just fine waiting for it to show. About a month after their big grand opening video, Kyle texted me, "Bro, you're gonna want to hear this." I met him for coffee on my lunch break. He came in with that look he gets when he's holding back a laugh. "You remember that glow Dana had?" he asked. I nodded. Gone. Like someone unplugged her. Apparently, Marcus had been hitting bars while Dana worked late at the spa. He'd show up to pick her up some nights reeking of whiskey and cologne, all smug and flirty with the front desk girl. Kyle heard from one of the nurses who still talked to Dana that Marcus had started networking with women at juice bars and yoga studios. Whatever the hell that meant. "You sure?" I asked. He pulled out his phone, scrolled to a photo. Marcus at a rooftop bar, shirt half open, arms around two girls who couldn't be older than 25. Tagged by some wannabe influencer. Kyle raised an eyebrow. "That looked like healing energy to you?" I didn't respond. Just stared at the screen, thinking there it is. Things unraveled fast after that. Dana started missing days at the spa. Canceled a bunch of appointments. Word was, she'd show up late, look like she hadn't slept, and leave early without saying much. Clients started posting reviews. Unprofessional. Never open. Felt scammed. One said she got a facial from someone who reeked of weed. Then came Emily. I walked into the diner near the station one evening, and there she was. Black apron, hair tied back, taking orders like she'd been doing it for years. She saw me. Froze. I didn't stop walking. Didn't even flinch. Sat at the counter, ordered my food like she wasn't 5 feet away. Kyle told me later she picked up the job because things were tight at home. Guess the spa didn't pay what they thought it would, especially when Marcus refused to get a job. Every time I passed by the old dentist's office, the windows looked darker. One day, the sign was gone. Just 4 holes in the stucco where the letters used to be. Dana's Dream Spa? Done. Emily moved out not long after. I saw a post on one of her friends' pages, just a selfie in a new apartment with a caption about starting fresh. No mention of her mom. No Marcus in sight. Then the story started getting uglier. Marcus staying out until 3 or 4 in the morning. Dana calling around trying to find him. Neighbors heard shouting. One guy said Marcus punched a mailbox. I didn't need to be told it was falling apart. But the moment that stuck, Kyle sent me a photo taken by a mutual friend. Dana sitting alone in her car at the gas station near the hospital. Red eyes. Makeup smeared. Just broken. "You see this?" Kyle texted. I stared at the photo for a long time. Yeah, I saw it. They thought they had it all figured out. They traded 18 years for some fantasy that crashed the second real life kicked in. And all I did was keep showing up to work, pay my bills, sleep in a quiet house that didn't smell like betrayal. Let them burn it down. I wasn't rushing in to save anyone. 2 weeks after the spa shut down, Marcus bailed. Kyle called me on a Tuesday afternoon, voice low like he was breaking bad news to a family member. "He's gone, man. Just dipped." Gone where? No one knows. Packed a duffel, took Dana's car, and ghosted. Said something about her not being the same girl he fell in love with. I let out a short breath through my nose. Of course he said that. Of course he made her the problem on his way out the door. The whole setup had been doomed from the start, but I figured he'd at least drag it out a few more months. Guess even he got bored playing house with consequences. Dana tried calling me that same night. 3 missed calls in a row. Then a text. "Please, can we just talk?" I didn't reply. Didn't even open it. Just watched it sit there and fade to the top of the screen like a ghost I didn't invite. The next day, she called again. Then again 2 days later. I blocked the number. I wasn't going to be her safety net when her fantasy crashed into reality. She picked her side. She signed the papers. She let Marcus play king in the house I built. She could deal with the ashes on her own. Then Emily started posting cryptic crap online. Black screen stories with white text like, "Betrayal hits hardest from the ones you love. Learning who's real is painful but necessary." No names. No context. Just vague, passive-aggressive nonsense designed to fish for sympathy. I didn't bite. A week later, Kyle gave me the rest of the puzzle. Marcus had cleaned out what was left of Dana's savings, opened a joint account to help manage the spa expenses, then drained it the day he left. Last Kyle heard, he'd taken a bus out of state. Florida, maybe. Or Arizona. Someplace hot and dumb where washed-up people go to pretend they're starting over. Dana went back to the hospital. Not as a charge nurse like before, she got demoted. Word was, she practically begged for the job. No more scheduling authority, no leadership role. Just scrubs and shift work like the rest of us. She passed by Kyle in the hallway once and didn't even make eye contact. Then came Emily. It was a Thursday. I was coming off a long call. Car wreck, 3 injuries, 1 fatal. And I was dead on my feet when dispatch buzzed in and said someone was waiting for me in the front lobby. She said, "She's your daughter." I felt my chest tighten. I walked halfway to the entrance, saw her through the glass, standing with her arms crossed, nervous, but trying to look strong. Same stance she used to have before piano recitals. I stopped, turned to security. "Tell her I'm not available." The guy looked confused. "You sure?" "Positive." I didn't watch her leave. I went straight to the locker room, sat down, and let the wave pass. I'd saved a man's life that morning, comforted his wife, radioed in the vitals like it was second nature. But seeing Emily there, waiting, looking at me like nothing had changed, that wrecked me harder than anything on the job. But I didn't move. She made her decision. Now she could live with it. That night after work, I couldn't shake it. Seeing Emily through that glass, standing there like the past year hadn't happened, it stuck to me like grease I couldn't wash off. I cracked a beer, sat on the floor in my living room, and dragged out one of the old boxes I hadn't touched since the divorce. Top 1. Marked Miscellaneous, in a faded Sharpie. I popped the lid and the smell hit me. Old paper, dust, something faintly sweet. Probably from a candle Dana packed in there at some point. I pushed that thought aside and started digging. Photos. Birthday cards. One from Emily when she was maybe 8. Best dad in the world, written in giant red crayon, the D's backward. Inside was a drawing of me and her holding hands next to a stick dog. I didn't remember the drawing, but I remembered the day she gave it to me, after I helped her build a cardboard rocket for some school thing. She was so proud of it, running through the house like we'd launched it for real. I found the photo next. Science fair. She was maybe 10, hair in a braid, her hands on her hips, standing next to her volcano project, beaming. I was crouched beside her, one hand on the table, the other holding the little remote for the baking soda eruption. We were both mid-laugh. That one hit harder than I expected. I leaned back against the couch, photo in hand, and just stared at it for a while. We looked like a real team, like a father and daughter who built something solid. Later that night, I sat on the porch with the same beer, now warm, that photo still sitting on the table beside me. The air was thick, summer just starting to roll in. The cicadas were screaming in the trees. And for the first time in months, I let myself actually feel it. I didn't miss Dana. Not even a little. Whatever version of her I loved died long before Marcus showed up. She wasn't worth carrying. But Emily? That ache was still there. Deep and sharp in the middle of my chest, like something unfinished. 18 years of showing up. Teaching her how to ride a bike. Sitting through school concerts. Staying up late to proofread essays. And she tossed it all like it didn't matter. I kept telling myself I did the right thing. That I had to protect what little I had left. That letting go was the only move left that didn't cost me more. And most days, I believed it. But sitting there with that picture in front of me, I wondered, just for a second, if she ever sat in her own silence and thought maybe I screwed up. I didn't know if she did, but I knew I wouldn't be the one to ask. It had been almost exactly a year. I was on the porch, same chair, same kind of night. Warm air, porch light buzzing, a bourbon in my hand, and the photo from the science fair tucked in the side table drawer. I hadn't looked at it in weeks, but I knew it was there. The knock came just after 9. 3 slow hits. No rush. No panic. Just steady. I didn't move at first. Thought maybe it was a neighbor or some kid selling magazines. Then I stood up and saw her through the screen door. Emily. And behind her, Dana. They both looked like hell. Emily's hair was flat, eyes swollen. She had this look on her face like she hadn't slept in a week, but was too scared to admit it. Dana looked thinner. Shoulders slumped. Makeup smeared just enough to show she tried to put herself together, but didn't have the energy to finish. Emily spoke first. Her voice cracked right on the first word. Please, we need to talk. I didn't answer. Just stared. Let it hang. They stood there, waiting, shifting on their feet like they didn't know if I was going to slam the door or swing it open. I stepped forward and pushed the screen open. Didn't say a word. Just held it open with one hand and waited. Dana cleared her throat. I was wrong. No hesitation, no build-up. She just said it. Her voice was low, almost ashamed. Marcus, he lied to me. Used me. Took everything. She looked up, eyes glassy. I see it now. All of it. What I did. What I threw away. I didn't move. Emily stepped in beside her, her voice barely above a whisper. I messed up. I thought you'd always be there. That no matter what I said, you'd still be you. She blinked fast and wiped her face with her sleeve. I was stupid, she said. I didn't get it until it was gone. I swallowed hard, jaw clenched. My chest felt like someone had grabbed it from the inside and started twisting. I'd waited for this moment more times than I could count. In my head, it went 100 different ways. Yelling, crying, hugging, slamming the door. But now that it was here, I couldn't speak. Dana took a half step forward. I don't expect anything. I just wanted you to know. Emily looked at me again. Can we sit? Please? I looked at the porch chairs, at the photo in the drawer, at the porch light above us, flickering like it couldn't decide whether to stay on or give up. I still didn't say a word. I let them stand there, held the screen open. Then I stepped aside. They sat stiff in the porch chairs, eyes bouncing between me and the floor like they were waiting for some miracle to show up and fix everything. It didn't. Dana spoke first. We were a family, Tom. We can rebuild this. We can fix it. I leaned against the porch post, arms crossed. The screen door creaked behind me, still hanging open. There's nothing left to fix, I said. Her face tightened, like she wanted to argue but didn't have the ground anymore. Emily leaned forward, elbows on her knees. You're still my dad, she said quietly. You always were. That hit harder than I wanted to admit. My jaw locked. I didn't move. She saw it, saw the crack, tried to push into it. I said things I didn't mean. I followed her lead because I thought that's what I was supposed to do. I was scared to lose both of you. You lost me the second you watched me walk out that courtroom and didn't say a word, I said. That was your choice. Dana shook her head, eyes glossy. We were broken, Tom. I was chasing something that wasn't real. I thought Marcus would save me. But you, she paused, swallowed. You were the one who always showed up. I didn't say anything. She reached out, fingertips brushing the air between us. Please, she whispered. Just give us a chance. I stepped back. Her hand dropped. I don't hate either of you, I said. But I'm done. I gave everything I had, and you handed it off to someone who didn't earn any of it. Emily stood up fast. So that's it. 18 years just erased? No, I said, voice steady. 18 years are behind me. But the last one? That's what I remember now. She looked like I punched her. You can live your life, Emily. Do whatever you want. But you're not my daughter anymore. That chapter's over. Dana's lip quivered. Emily blinked hard, trying to hold it together. I opened the screen door the rest of the way, stepped inside, and without another word, closed it behind me. Didn't slam it. Didn't lock it. Just closed it. I stood in the hallway for a moment, listening. I could hear them still out there. Dana sniffling quietly. Emily pacing the porch. I didn't go back out. I didn't look through the window. I let them stand there as long as they wanted. But the line had been drawn, and I wasn't crossing it again. I walked back out to the porch after a few minutes. The chairs were empty. Porch light flickering again. The air was still warm, but cooler now, like the day had finally let go. I sat down, picked up my glass, and finished the drink. Bourbon, just enough bite to remind me I was still here. The sky was turning orange over the trees. One of those quiet, slow sunsets that doesn't ask for attention, but still pulls your eyes toward it. I let it happen. Let the silence soak in. For the first time in a long time, I didn't feel bitter. Didn't feel angry. Just settled. They'd figure themselves out, or they wouldn't. Dana would probably land on her feet. She always did, somehow. Emily. I didn't know. Maybe she'd grow from it. Maybe not. Either way, it wasn't my problem anymore. I sat there until the sun dipped behind the rooftops and the streetlights clicked on. Then I stood up, stretched my back, and went inside. My phone was on the table. I picked it up, opened the contacts, and scrolled straight to D. Dana. Then E. Emily. Deleted both. No hesitation. Then I walked over to the closet, pulled out the last cardboard box from the bottom shelf. The one with the photos, drawings, old science fair ribbons. I flipped through a few of them one last time. Let myself feel it, but didn't let it linger. Then I shut the lid, carried it up the narrow attic ladder, and set it down in the far corner. Dusty up there, hot as hell. Didn't matter. That part of my life was over. I climbed back down, turned off the hallway light, and closed the attic door behind me. No ceremony. No looking back. It wasn't about revenge. It wasn't about making a point. It was peace. Real peace. I made my choice. And this time, it was sticking.